Hello and welcome to the WAQ Show. I'm your host TJ, and with me today is
Matt.
And fuck Adobe, I'm Dan.
and that is a hint to what we're talking about today.
I don't know about a hint.
Our our love-hate relationship with Adobe, which right now is mostly hate for some of us. And Dan would be that person. So you were having some issues the other day. I don't know what they were, but do you wanna start in some of the things that bother you?
God, hold up. Let me look at this. Let me look at this fucking comment I put in the Discord.
I know.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna go to some of the past stuff and some of the current stuff that has bothered me.
Okay, I remember now.
Okay.
So, I will read what I put in Discord essentially to start this off. If your fucking software makes an entire market centered around converting your proprietary file types into other normal ass file types, you're doing something fucking wrong. Okay? I should not have to go to another website or service to make a PDF a different fucking file. And I know there's ways to do it with like other softwares and shit, but it should be as easy as changing the file extension if I'm trying to make it into an equivalent type of document, i.e. like a Word doc. I don't understand. We're going from a PDF to a Word doc. Has to be a whole fucking process because the places I went to go do it, it's like, oh yeah, you can do it like a couple times for free, and then you have to subscribe to our service, which is literally designed around changing a PDF to a different file type. Various different file types. They are literally making a living wage off of Adobe being a jackass.
Yep.
I mean, so A, did you try copying the text in the doc in the PDF?
It had
pasting in the Google Doc.
It had images I needed on it as well, so I could not just like do that.
Okay. Bummer. Also, B. We're talking to you, John Adobe. Get your fucking shit together, you piece of crap.
Exactly. So that's where I'm gonna start today. Is file types. Come on. I get that PDF's nice, but Jesus Christ.
And I'll lead off of that. And one of the things that lately that I had a frustration with, a major frustration, I was looking on making an online magazine. And one of the ways you could do that was through Flash. And part of my frustration is something I forgot, which is that they're getting rid of Flash. I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yeah.
Not sure if I agree with that totally, but
I mean,
I think
we only had.
Go ahead.
Dan.
No,
Okay.
Go ahead.
We only had Flash because HTML couldn't support video. It can now, so we don't need Flash.
no, I'm okay with that. I don't mind them necessarily getting rid of Flash. But what I had an issue with Adobe, because they're doing that like a year from now.
They've
So
been telling us they're doing it for several years too. So
Yeah, but there's still a lot of people who use Flash.
I mean, we had several years to stop.
Yeah, I'm not hating on that, but a lot of like you have to pay extra to not use Flash right now. Like Adobe doesn't have that set up. You have to get the plugins. So they took away the file type you could save as for Flash on all their things. So now you get stuck in this, oh, I have to go pay extra from a third party, and it's not incorporated in.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah. Like, either let me save it as the old version until I can't, I guess, put it up, or give me the stuff, because Adobe's cheap enough anyways.
Is it though?
enough.
Fucking
Yeah.
is it though?
No, that was part of my point.
Okay, I did not feel the sarcasm. It was not layered on hard enough.
My bad. No,
It's
oh
so
my
dumb.
God.
Okay, so a really quick comment about the Flash thing before we move on from that. Why can't they just leave what's there? Why do they need to like completely remove it?
That's part of my issue with it. I'm like, okay, but if people want to use it, why not let them use it?
Yeah, like is it limiting the functionality of something else within the system? Like I don't understand.
Think that overall Flash is just an inefficient way to have video on HTML websites, which is the grand majority of the web that we interact with. And
Okay.
if you let people just keep using the old thing, they won't do the new thing that is so much better.
But why
so
is
the internet's being smart enough to be like, no, fuck you. We're just done supporting Flash. Learn HTML. Where, like, I wish we would do that in some other things. Like, hey, you know what? Get an electric car or don't get a car. We're done supporting oil.
I mean,
Possibly a bad example, but you know what I mean? I wish there were other things where people would just be like, yeah, that's old and dumb, and you could do this new smart way. So we're done with the old and dumb way.
yeah, but I guess my complaint is like, why does Adobe feel like they get to make that decision for everybody?
I don't think
Yeah.
Adobe made that decision, because if you think about it, Adobe Flash is it's an Adobe product. Why would they want this to be the case? I think there's some committee that makes like big fucking internet decisions that kind of made it.
Well, so going through the process, I ended up communicating with tech support with Adobe. So I'm like, okay, I can't do this. Do you have any like solutions to do this? And I had to download an older version. So it was InDesign that I was working through. I had to download an older version of InDesign while still having the current InDesign, and then go into that one, and then I could save it to the file type. Is what I figured out. Which is an annoying way to have to do
so
it.
dumb.
I mean,
Yeah.
I certainly think that Adobe shouldn't stop you from saving in Flash. If that's what you want to work in and convert it later, I don't know what that process would be like, but I think they should let you.
Well, I wouldn't mind saving into the new because it's like HTML5 is what it is. It's what you
Yeah.
save and what I was working on. But it needs to be incorporated into their program. That should be a thing then. If they're gonna stop you from doing something, then they need to supply at no extra charge because of how expensive Adobe is. That other end of it.
Yeah, they need to support a transitionary period. A lot of like that extends past Adobe, but Adobe needs to do that if they're gonna force a
Yeah.
change like that.
No, this is the Adobe Rage episode. So of course we're in context of Adobe.
Okay, so let's move on to price.
Oh my god. Let's just go ahead and look at the Adobe website.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm
Let's
pulling
see
it
how
up
much
right
shit
the
is.
Yeah,
fuck
go-
now.
Go ahead, because
Adobe.
I will say this. I am 100% with you on the price thing. I know I am, but at the same time, I am not as bothered by it because I get it far cheaper.
Creative Cloud pricing and membership plans. So they have like bundles at the very least. So I'll give them a little bit of credit. They're trying. But Premiere Pro, professional video and film editing software. Now, we'll talk about it in context with your other options for reference. Premiere Pro, I'm looking at it right now. It's basically $21 a month, $21 US a month. So on the surface, that doesn't sound that bad. Sweet, I get some professional video editing software for $21 for a month. Great. But when you realize that you can go buy Sony Vegas on fucking Steam, that goes on sale regularly for like $300, $400, and have that for infinity, all of a sudden $21 a month feels pretty fucking hefty. Like, Because what? That's every 5 months. That's over $100. So over the course of a year and a half, right? Because that's 5, 10, 15 is $300. Yeah. So over the course of like 2 years, you're now spending more money than if you had just bought Sony Vegas Pro, whatever the fuck version you want. And the shitty part, the real shitty part about each of these services, which, by the way, you can't just pay one flat price and have the whole suite. You have to buy the individual pieces. So you need Premiere, but if you're also an animator, you need Animate, which is $21 an hour. Or an hour, a month.
They have it all apps.
Yeah, but oh yeah, they're all apps is $40 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
$40 a month for the whole thing, but I'll pose this for you. Who the fuck is actually paying for the whole thing that isn't a company or business?
I mean, anybody that isn't an idiot and wants 3 apps should be paying for the whole. Hell, if anybody that isn't an idiot and wants 2 apps should be paying for the whole thing. You're saving $2 that way.
Depending on the apps.
I guess.
Yeah.
But all the good ones are $21. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere.
Lightroom's $10, which I know TJ uses. Acrobat Pro is $15.
I can tell you I have the entire suite. But I'm trying to look. I'm trying to look up my.
Also, that's showing a discounted special offer price for me. It's actually $53.
Yeah.
Still, if you want 3 of them, you get all apps.
Either way. Yeah, but then sure, you have all the apps, but realistically, how many apps are you probably using as an individual? Either way, following on to that, by the way, stock isn't even on here. Not all the services are on the page I'm looking at. Anyway, there's another hidden thing about these bullshit ass services, which I kind of understand from a business perspective on Adobe's behalf, why it's a thing, but there has to be a better answer. Because I paid for some Adobe stuff because I needed it for a project I was doing for a client, because I do gig work right now with my business. And after I finished the project, I don't know when I'm going to need that software again. So I'm not going to continue paying for that software in the months that I'm not going to use it, because that's literally pooping money down the toilet. Mm-hmm. They have a cancellation fee that is fucking more than the software costs.
I did not know that.
It cost me $60 to stop having access to a piece of software.
That's so stupid.
That's my real problem with Adobe's pricing, is not only do they piecemeal all of their stuff, sure, they do have a bundle one, which does seem like it has a reasonable amount of savings if you're actually using that many pieces of their software. But for people like me and the growing gig market industry, where you're doing different projects periodically and you need different tools and you don't want to have to pay for shit you're not using in the interim, that is fucking ridiculous. That's like 3 months of Premiere Pro that I had to pay to stop having Premiere Pro. Like, what? I could understand like maybe a month of value. It's like, hey, they thought you would be a follow-on customer. You're messing with their bottom line. You're messing with their projected income. I understand as a business that that's not great to have a customer do. But $60 for a $20 a month piece of software? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
This is not a fucking online MMO. This is like stuff people need for their professional lives to exist. And you're going to charge a cancellation fee like that. Are you serious right now? I mean, you're going to charge a subscription-based fee. Are you serious right now? Ugh.
So,
I do want to say the one area that Adobe helps in with needing the suite is the education suite, which I qualify for. And that's why I have the entire suite, which is nice. And I use the majority of products, especially now. And that is $32 a month, which it's gone up since I've had it to that 32. It used to be a lot better. But I just put it in. That's $384 a year. It's almost $400 a year to own the whole suite, which is not worth it. It is because I have to have it, but ultimately not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason sorry, you've been trying to get something in, Matt. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we started this, and I was like, if there's anything I can do, it's bitch about something with my friends. And then I kind of fell back into my naturally inclined devil's advocate position. But this is bullshit. I don't care if they're a business. What they're doing is they're lying to you. They're saying, hey, yeah, buy our product. And they're not telling you that to cancel it, it's $60, which I consider just a fucking lie. Because no product ever that makes any kind of sense costs money to stop using. So they're just not telling you how much it is to actually use their... It says $10 a month, but if I only want to pay for a month, it's actually $70. So that's bullshit. And I did a little number crunching. At $300 a year, you make that price, or you pay that in 14 months. At $500 a year, you pay that in 23 months. The average person that actually needs to use Adobe, I guarantee they don't expect them to only use it for 2 years. So, this is ridiculous. Like, what the fuck?
And they can get away with it because their tools are so proprietary and everything has been designed around their fucking file types and coding types and shit, so you have to use it.
Yeah, they did it. I don't want to say reasonable or understandable because the entire Adobe Suite used to be $300, but honestly, most of my opinions about the former price of Adobe were as a poor college student, whereas now I could drop $300 on the entire Adobe Suite if it was just a one-time purchase.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They can do that. They can do what they're doing because they used to be reasonable, and they were reasonable for so long, and they built such a... They ingratiated themselves to their market so hard and did it so well that nobody else has tried to do it better. And so now they can just do whatever they want. They've got us by the short ones.
And that leads into my next complaint. Unless you guys have anything more on the
I'm done.
price area.
I'm done with just pure anger.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it leads into, and this has a little bit to do with the price. No, it has to do with the price. So not only do we have to pay that much a month for a subscription, where I'd prefer to have just a one-time buy and then have major upgrades every other, each year, whatever, however often they want to put out a new package with more updates. And now in my subscription, I expect if I'm going to be paying monthly, then each month I want major increases to my product.
Yeah, you want there to be a reason for it. Like,
and there is.
It pains me to have this strong of a reaction to Adobe when I'm really, like, the argument I made when we talked about games a while back of, like, making, DLCs have a cost, or even arguing that, like, there's a justification for a subscription base for a game, because, like, after you make the game, like, once it's sold and run its course, the people who made the game aren't really making money off of the game anymore, so they need to come up with ways to still make it a revenue stream. Like, the same thing is true for all pieces of software, yes. But the implication of what I described is you are providing something to the customer. What's not happening on Adobe's end is they're not providing anything additional with the more and more money you invest in it. You're just paying to have exactly the same shit 90% of the time. Whereas what you just described, TJ, there's a piece of software that I personally prefer over Premiere Pro or Premiere Rush or whatever the fuck. And it is a piece of software called Camtasia that does exactly what you described. If they upgrade the software to basically like 8.0 to 9.0, then there is an upgrade fee if you choose to do that. You still have access to the old version. It still works. Eventually they will cut, like tech and customer support for it, but it still works more or less, kind of thing.
can I still buy the old version once they've upgraded for even like for any amount of time?
I think you can buy 1 or 2 versions back. You can't buy all the
Wow.
way to the OG one.
You know, you started describing that, and I was like, wow, that sounds like exactly what I want them to. That's exactly the model I want from something like Adobe. And then I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I bet you can't buy it backwards though. That would be kind of nice. And then you can,
I
and it's
think
completely reasonable that you could only buy 1 or 2 back.
I think you can. I think you can. I'll pull the website up and check.
Honestly, though, I wouldn't even mind if you can't buy backwards.
Yeah, no, it's not. Like, I get it. They're a business.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous that it's subscription where you're supposed to have these great updates and we don't get them. It's all really small.
Like,
Okay, you might not be able to buy back. That
Okay.
might have been an upgrade thing because I had an older version. But like for reference, just to explain what I'm talking about, TechSmith Camtasia 2020, buying it flat out, $250, and it's actually a great piece of software. Like I genuinely like it better than a lot of other stuff I've used. You can also pay a little bit more, and it's kind of like a season pass for a game where you like all the future upgrades and newest releases annually are included, and you get priority support for a subscription added on to the base, but you can just buy the base thing. So it's $250 for the base thing if you have absolutely nothing and you've never used Camtasia before. The upgrade is $99.50.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Like, boom, done. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
yeah.
And they also have like an education and a government/nonprofit version pricing thing as well, and business. So like it's not that this idea doesn't exist. It's not that other people aren't doing it. It's that Adobe's the fucking gorilla in the room that's going to punch you in the mouth if you suggest doing anything they're not already doing, kind of thing.
Yep. And it plays into one of my oldest, but I just absolutely hated when they did this. And it's the opposite of what I'm saying. So they did a big update in Illustrator. By big update, I mean they completely changed it. And everyone had to relearn the program.
Yeah, that's another thing that I fucking hate.
Frustrates me to no end. And I still haven't relearned Illustrator truly. I haven't had the time to like sit down and do it.
And of course, it's a cloud thing now, so you can't just not update.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. Now that was years ago when that happened, but still.
I just thought of another like pricing thing. I think what pisses me off so much about the pricing, because really that's my main issue is I'm looking at the Adobe Creative Cloud pricing plan page, and it says right here, photography for $10 a month, which is Lightroom and Photoshop. Sounds like a great deal. If I only want that for 1 month, though, with the $60 cancellation fee, that's not $10 a month. That's $70 a month. So that, I've already said it, but that infuriates me. Also, if Adobe cost $1,000, and I know, I'm pretty sure it never did, but if Adobe costs $1,000, that's 100 months. That's 10 years. You know, give or take. Of subscription costs. If I have that product for 20 years, 30 years, it's only getting cheaper. The longer I use it, it's only getting cheaper. And the longer I use it, the more I'm going to be inclined to get the newer version if it's worth it. But with this fucking subscription fee, it's only getting more expensive. If they're going to do something like that, the cost to use it should be so negligible that I don't care.
Yeah. And why not? For me too, why not make it, if it's going to be subscription, so this is off of what you're saying, making it measurable, why not have it so that the entire suite is affordable for everybody?
Yeah, I
Where you're
really like I always have this thought, and I don't understand why it's not a thing, but I also don't understand anything about business or economics, so there could be something I'm missing here. But if I had a business the size of Adobe, I would seriously consider trying to make my things as affordable as possible, with the thought that the more people that are using my thing at a reasonable price, the more people are talking about my thing at a more reasonable price, it spreads. Like, if Adobe fucking Photoshop is $5 a month, no cancellation fee, and I tell a friend that likes to, edit tokens, like, here's how you do it. It's $5 a month. You're already paying this for Roll20. Just, pop in, learn a few tricks, edit all the tokens you want. $5 a month is nothing.
Not only that, it keeps us around, because I know a couple things like I was saying with Illustrator. Well, I found another product that is a one-time buy, Infinity, and it works equal to Illustrator, and I actually prefer because the interface is more user-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm slowly, if I find products that are one-time buys that do the equivalent to what I need for the Adobe products that I use, there's no need to have Adobe anymore.
Yeah. No, if there was a reasonable alternative to Photoshop, best believe I'd be over there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do this with Premiere Pro. You might be able to, but like, just jumping back to the Camtasia example, since I do video editing. Camtasia is not only a video editor, it is a library of like basic animations. It is like you can create effects in Camtasia as well, which is an entirely different, like, sure, they're kind of basic baseline effects unless you buy like plugins and stuff, but like you need After Effects to do that with Adobe.
That's what I was going to say. So you need other Adobe products to do it.
That, and Camtasia has a fucking screen recording component. You can use it to record what's going on your screen and like live edit basically effects and things like that for like guide building and stuff like that. I don't know if you can do that in Premiere Pro. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And you're going to end up paying more, cuz like it was 50 cents less than $100 to get the yearly upgrade for Camtasia if you want to get that year's upgrade, which you can totally not, and the software will still work. And then you can upgrade to 2021 for $99.50 the next year, kind of thing. Like, you can skip years. So if it's like we'll call it $100, then you are already saving money compared to Adobe after 5 months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do know too, in the commercial world, the big counterpart to Premiere is Final Cut. A lot of people use Final Cut Pro versus Premiere, but I'm pretty sure that's the one. That's not subscription. I don't believe Final Cut, but that's also like, I want to say like $500 or $600.
Also, just for clarity, I'm not sponsored by Camtasia.
Yeah.
I want to check that out though.
Yeah. It's it's got that user-friendly thing going on too. Like, the UI is super super chill.
Which I feel like that's something that Adobe's lost out on now in a lot of their products, being user-friendly.
Dude, I feel
like they're getting less and less user-friendly.
I will look at somebody using Photoshop and I'll be like, what the fuck is going on? Where is anything?
Yeah.
No, I use Photoshop, and we watched somebody use Photoshop recently, Dan. I use Photoshop, no idea what she was doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know you could do half of that. I took classes in college on how to use Photoshop.
There is. I will say, I mean, a lot of the Adobe products, though, are really great. I mean, the products themselves are really good.
Yeah, I mean,
they do.
I'm not arguing that they don't know how to design some software. Like, it's pretty good. But I don't think it's $21 a month with a $60 cancellation fee good.
Yeah. That cancellation fee is going to fucking stick with me.
That's $21 a month just for a couple of the products.
That's for a product, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One more thing on the pricing, because it's my biggest issue with Adobe. I also don't understand why more companies, like going back to the negligible cost a month. I don't know about you guys. I'll totally forget about a $5 subscription for a couple months when I'm not using it.
Yeah.
And I'll like every once in a while I'll go through my bank account like, all right, let's make sure everything's on the up and up. Let's, make sure I know what all these costs are. And then I'll see one. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm still paying for that. It's only $5 a month.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why wouldn't Adobe want that? They should want me to fucking forget about them and just stay subscribed for forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of pricing and Adobe, I just remembered a thing I wanted to mention earlier. If you do need to use Adobe for professional purposes or whatever, and you don't get the convenient pricing of students and whatever, if you go to your account and act like you are canceling your subscription to a piece of software, they will produce deals for you. They will say, are you sure you want to cancel? How about we give you your next month free or some shit like that?
Yeah.
Feel free to abuse that one to save yourself some money, because that's bullshit too. Why do the people who are thinking about leaving get the extra deals? Why aren't those just flat open for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sure would be nice.
There are other companies that do that too. It's
It's-
stupid.
It sure would be nice if Adobe was like, hey buddy, you've been with us for 2 years. Here's a free month.
Ha! A business honoring a loyal customer? That doesn't fucking happen anymore.
Nope. I will say one thing they did is they gave 3 months during the COVID.
Well, yeah, but every business is
Every
trying to
fuck-
avoid
yeah.
losing
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Give it a little
Like
bit.
nobody can
Fair.
afford shit, and Adobe knows that they're not exactly necessary shit. I feel nothing for all these companies that are like, hey, we know you're going through some shit. We're going through some shit too. Here's some stuff. Like, gee, thanks Adobe. Why don't you make a big ad? Why don't you take all this money you fucking make and make a big ad campaign about why people not wearing masks are literally murderers? Why don't you do that with all your money? Why don't you donate to something good? I'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
Tell me half of my next month's Adobe subscription is going to some charity that's helping out COVID. That's something.
Oh,
That's
see,
a
that
reason
would be
to
cool.
subscribe.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But here's 3 months free. Don't forget about us. Fuck you, Adobe. John Adobe,
Yeah.
piece of
No.
shit.
I'll still take the 3 months.
I'm not saying I'm not going to take the 3 months. I'm just saying I'm not going to feel grateful for them.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
I would say,
it's
like,
it's like you try to get clean and your drug dealer is like, hey, buddy, here's some free crack. Oh, gee, thanks, pal.
so here's a question for you guys then. At what price point is the entire package fair to you on both ends?
Monthly?
Huh?
Monthly? Like a
Yeah,
monthly
monthly
price
or a-
point?
Yeah, like at their subscription base.
Because I already hate that it's monthly.
Yeah. I mean, we all do.
I can, like I was saying earlier, I can fathom just about any price that isn't just plain ridiculous if it's a one-time cost.
Well, okay, so let's look at it from a perspective of what ones would I actually use, like on a semi-reasonably frequent basis. So Acrobat Pro, I work with a lot of PDFs with what I do. So that's $15 a month. Hang on, let me keep track of this. Let me whip out.
Yeah, no, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna
do the
write
same
it down
thing.
too. Yep.
So we can look at what we would be paying and what we think would be reasonable.
Okay, Acrobat Pro, $15 a month. I would probably use Photoshop fairly frequently with like Pathfinder stuff if I had it and I knew how to use it well. So that's going to be $21 a month. Let's see. Wouldn't use Lightroom, XD, InDesign. Dreamweaver, probably not.
I feel like Dreamweaver's kind of fallen away.
Yeah. The like,
Online.
yeah,
I
the
don't
like
even know
built.
what Dreamweaver
It's
does.
a website design
Okay.
software.
Yeah. It's great. It's a great product too. Also, Adobe bought it.
I'd use the shit out of Premiere Pro, so that's another $21 a month.
Plus, if they charge for After Effects and the ones you need to work with Premiere Pro.
Yeah, I would probably do After Effects, and then I would also get some use out of Audition if I had it. Like there are things I can imagine in my life right now where I'm like, if I had that, it would make it easier and it would make me more efficient at what I'm doing. Okay. And one that's not on this page alone is Adobe Stock, which I think is like 10 a month base subscription plus additional licensing.
Something like that. I don't use it. You get to pay for stock image, right?
The membership plan gives you a couple a month kind of thing. It is 10 standard assets a month with Adobe Stock is $30 a month. So, and I would use the hell out of that. So Stock, $30 a month. So I would be paying, if I had all of the Adobe stuff I wanted, I would be paying $84, $114, $129. So like $130 pre-tax a month for all of this. Now, I will admit it is a lot of good software. I'm not saying it's not, but at $130, there is an online website that does enough for Photoshop. There is other options that I'm already using for video editing and applying, graphic effects. Audio editing, I can just use a video editor for that if I really need to. There are technically free options for Stock. They're not as good, but they're out there. So I don't have a reason to pay $130 for all of these things, firstly. Secondly, for all of these things, if I had to do a monthly subscription, I think $15 would be my breaking point.
Total?
Stock being the exception. $15 a month total.
Total or each?
Total. I maybe 20 because I do have a lot on the list, and that's excluding Stock. Stock is its own kind of monster. I'll give it that much because it has to do with licensing imagery. So I'll give them a buy on Stock. But the others, Acrobat Pro, Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects, and Audition, I'd pay $15 to $20 a month for access to all of them.
That's fair.
And
I can see that.
And if there were ever months where I didn't have a need for those things, I would still leave the subscription alone at that rate. That's kind of where my line is. It's like, if I was paying only that much for all of those things a month, if I knew I wasn't going to use them for a month or two, I would still just leave the subscription alone.
Right.
At like $15 to $20 a month for all those.
How about you, Matt?
Okay, so I got some very nice numbers because I if I were to get all the so the idea here is that Adobe is reasonably priced, and if they're reasonably priced, I might be willing to spend a little extra on programs that I wouldn't use as often just to have at my fingertips at a moment's notice all the Adobe products that I would want. So, with that in mind, if I could have all the Adobe products that I would ever touch, it would be Photoshop, Illustrator, Acrobat, After Effects, and Premiere Pro. Because when I learned to use Photoshop, you really, to ideally use Photoshop, you should really be going between Photoshop and Illustrator. To ideally use Illustrator, you should be going between Illustrator and Photoshop. Taking a fucking picture, putting it into Illustrator, turning it into a vector work, and then putting it back into Photoshop, so when you zoom in, it's not all pixelated and fucking shit, so that you can actually edit it so much more finely. Should just be something you could do with Photoshop, but it's not. So you should really be going between both of those. And as I've heard you guys talk and experienced, I learned to use After Effects as a video editing software, but I've heard so much good shit about Premiere Pro that it seems like that's the video editing software, and After Effects is just the one that you use to do weird things that you can't do in Premiere Pro. So both of those should really be bundled too.
Yeah.
So I think that all 5 of these, which if you add them all up, comes out to a very nice $99 a month. Just aesthetically pleasing to me that is the number I got. Not that I want to pay it.
Yeah.
I think they should all be $5, and that there should be bundles. There should be a Photoshop Illustrator bundle that is $7 a month. A After Effects Premiere bundle that is $7 a month. You know, let me save some money because I'm giving you more money. And so if I were to do that, in my ideal world, where Photoshop and Illustrator are bundled for $7, and After Effects Premiere bundled for $7, and I got Promote for Acrobat Pro for $5, that would be $19. Which also, not even going for it, another nice number. And I think, you know, I know it's less stuff, but I would also be willing to, for the stuff I want, pay $20. Now, I probably would not be continuously subscribed to Premiere and After Effects. I would probably grab that one when I had a project I wanted to do. But I would damn sure stay subscribed to Photoshop, Illustrator, and Acrobat for $12 a month. Better yet, at 10. Because, hell, I already use Photoshop and Acrobat all the time. And Illustrator is just letting me use Photoshop better.
That makes sense. I'm with you on all that. So for me, I use pretty much half the Adobe.
Damn. So how much is it? How much do you actually pay a month, TJ? Because you're doing this for real.
Yeah, I didn't go in and calculate like you guys did. I'd pretty much be about $200 a month. Because I'm everything Dan was plus a couple.
But I mean, you're already doing it right now. Do you not know how much you're actually paying Adobe?
Oh no, I'm paying $32 a month, but I have the student.
Oh yeah.
Deal, so I'm getting it far cheaper.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
I will point out we did do all our math not using just the all apps option that was described. Just in full transparency, there is an option that would be less than the grand total of their base pricing that we've created. But even with that, I don't want all the shit.
Do you have it up though? Because it's about like $60, $70 a month. Right?
Without any special offers, it is $53 for their all apps air quotes option.
Insane.
Yeah, $53 a month. And again, I'm only gonna use maybe like 5 of them.
But here's the problem too for me is the ones that I use and all the ones that I do use, there's no package that has them. So
other
I'm
than
stuck
all
with
apps.
Yeah, I'm stuck with having all apps.
Like the only package I can see is this photography package.
With Illustrator, but see, you're forgetting Lightroom. So for photography,
no, it's Lightroom and Photoshop.
Oh yeah, that one.
But
yeah.
I think it should have Illustrator.
I thought you meant the one you were talking about. Yeah.
No, like I said, to fully use Photoshop, you need Illustrator.
You should be able to create your own custom package and receive a discount by a certain degree based on the things that you put together.
Yeah, they should have like oh, you want 1, here's the price. Oh, you want 2, here's the price. Oh, you want 5, here's the price.
So for me, I was gonna say my total I'd be comfortable with paying monthly is like $25 for the whole package. Because there's some of them that I probably will use eventually with some little projects that I have.
Mm-hmm.
But and those are like the ones where like you were saying, like if it's $5 a month and you just kind of forget about it. For those, if I'm paying a little bit extra for the whole package over like Dan's 20, then I'm like, okay.
Like
I can handle that.
Adobe, if you're fucking listening, John Adobe, I'm talking to you right now. This is me and you. Forget about Dan and TJ. It's just me and you. If Photoshop was $5 a month, I think I could sell like 10 copies of Photoshop to my friends. For $5 a month? Who in their right mind? You realize how many college students have to go to the shitty fucking computer lab to use Photoshop because they don't want to pay for Photoshop because they're poor ass college students? Even as a broke piece of shit, I'd have paid $5 for Photoshop to use it on my goddamn laptop.
I remember when I had to pay, I forget how much it was, but it was a couple hundred to get CS4, which was Adobe CS4 is what it was called, which was the whole package. And that, it took me a while to save up money to get that so I could use it. Because you say it like all computers at schools have them. They don't.
No. I didn't say all the computers.
I just want to be clear for people.
Specific design labs at my school. There was like 2 of them. And in that lab, like 4 computers had Photoshop. So if 4 people were using Photoshop, you had to wait until they were done using Photoshop. And that's not you don't just walk in and use Photoshop for 20 minutes and walk out. That's like hey, can I get on a list? Can you call me when they're done? I think at one point they were reserving time.
Yeah. So, I just remember something else I wanted to mention too, but really, really quick. So, if it was $10 or $20, that's $120 or $240 a month or a year. So it's still a ton of money.
Yeah, for reference, you vaguely estimated somewhere in the ballpark of $200 if you only picked out the ones that you actually wanted to use, didn't use the all
package, yeah,
software thing. That's $2,400 a year.
Yeah.
To use stuff that is essentially required for your business. Which, by the way, you have to do in order to fucking survive.
Yeah. Yep.
And once again, I think it is very worth mentioning that the cheaper a product is, the more people use it. There has got to be a point at which, and maybe this is it, maybe Adobe has found that point already, where they've made their product cheap enough that enough people buy it that this is optimum pricing.
Could be.
But
that'd be sad if it was.
I think that price should be lower. If Photoshop alone was $5 a month, I can't see a reason why like anybody who does anything on the internet wouldn't have Photoshop.
Or if they just made every product $5.
Yeah, like I know plenty of people. You see people all the time on fucking apps using Photoshop. I'm gonna go ahead and guess none of them are paying for Photoshop. So you've already got people stealing your shit. If the difference between using your app and not was $5 a month, I've got to jump through 16 hoops to steal your app, or I can pay $5 a month. You better believe I'm paying $5 a month.
So, okay, so here's another thing that plays into the pricing. Eventually, I have to get a new computer to keep up with Adobe, especially for.
Which is more incidental cost to the whole process.
Yep.
Yeah, the fact that you can't not update.
I hate that. And that's part of the subscription thing. Like eventually, like, oh yeah, my computer can't handle it.
Like I would have so many less problems if I could, pay for it once and not update. That's it, really. Just let me buy an old version of Photoshop.
Yeah.
Like, let me buy it from 2000. It's going to be garbage. It's not going to, like, all the tutorial videos online are going to be shitty as fuck.
I'm pretty sure you still can, but you can still get Photoshop too. In fact, I think they give it away for free.
I honestly think all businesses that work with software should take a policy of after, X years, like 5-10 years of being in business, creating so many iterations, take a moment, step back, look at which instance of your software was the highest rated, most popular version, and say, we will never stop supporting this version of the software. Bear in mind, changes in operating systems and whatnot will still cause their own problems, which we may not be able to work around. But we will always support this version, and this version will always be available. All others, short of the 2 latest ones, will be dropped. But there will always be, version 3.0 that everybody seemed to like available, and then we'll keep moving on with 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But there will always be 3.0. You will have a baseline.
I really like that, actually.
That
would make
great.
a lot of sense.
And they could even, like, do that every 10 years. All right, we're on year 10. We're on iteration 8. Everybody like 3. We're going to keep supporting 3. 10 years later, all right, we're on 15. Turns out we have 3, and then everything from 8 is still available, and everybody likes 12. More than 3, in fact. More people use 12 than 3. All right, we're going to move to 12.
Yeah.
12 is now our permanent support.
Yeah, like an increased baseline based on.
Yeah, and I think as long as there's a standardized expected interval in which that occurs that is reasonably long, I think people can be okay with that.
And one of the things I do like, and I don't think this is Adobe. I don't know about you guys, but if you go to a website that uses Flash still, for like the last 3 years, it's been telling me Flash will not be supported soon.
Yeah.
If they just did that with like, if Adobe every 10 years is just like, hey buddies, we're coming up on the 10-year mark, if you like 3, you might want to save it, because we're probably going to stop supporting it because 12 is more used.
I hope everyone on the other end of that is prepared for Flash to not users, but the people who have that on their websites are prepared to not have that.
Yeah, like I feel real bad.
That's going to mess up a lot of stuff.
Newgrounds. Newgrounds is a repository of so much of the internet that I grew up with, and a lot of it's just going to die because nobody's remaking shitty Flash games from the 2000s.
Yeah. Sad days.
Oh God, I'm all stressed out now. We just spent an hour bitching.
I mean, you can save Flash files, so you can go online and save those games.
Yeah, but I mean, where are you gonna play them at?
You can play them with a Flash player.
You can play them on Excel.
Can you?
I know that.
I think to a certain degree, when I was in Afghanistan, there was this Excel file floating around that was like some kind of side-scrolling little like game where you jump and stuff. Like it was in an Excel sheet. So,
but can you with the new subscription Excel, or did they get rid of it? But that's the other thing I was going to say to your point, Dan, of what you were saying, which how you planned out like the baseline and all that stuff. We'd have to get away from the subscription things, which I think we need to get away from subscription things for these products.
For software, yeah. For games where you're constantly patching and shit like that, and you are changing the game and the experience, that's fine.
No, yeah. But for professional software that we need to use, subscriptions just them being greedy.
Yeah. So for our personal suites, we all seem to be willing to pay around the ballpark of $20. TJ's willing to pay a little more. He's getting more.
Yep.
Dan would like to play a little less. I had like 2 different modes. One of them was way less, and one of them was like basically $20. How much would we be willing to pay for a single cost? And you go ahead first, Dan.
Oh, like
whatever you were gonna say.
A one-time buy?
Yeah.
For the whole kit and caboodle?
For what you want.
Yeah, the bundle of what I want. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, we'll remove stock from the list because that's a different situation. So Acrobat Pro.
I want to say, I think stock is fine being a subscription based.
I think that makes sense. Honestly, stock is its own thing. But Acrobat Pro, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects, and Audition. A one-time buy for all 5 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, let me do some quick math here. Make sure this number makes sense.
Silence. Sorry, I'll I'll piece this together. I'll close it off so there's not a big gap of silence.
No worries.
No worries.
I just finished. I think, and this actually probably comes out to a little bit more than my benchmark of 15 to 20 a month for the bundle. Mm-hmm. But the fact that it's no longer a monthly thing, I would be willing to do like 600, 650 to just permanently have access to all of those things.
And how many programs was it?
It was 5 programs. So for reference, 18 months at 15 a month is 270. If I did 18 months at 20 a month, that would be 360. I'm saying I'm willing to pay almost double what their subscription thing is over the course of a year and a half. So I'm willing to pay 3 years of their subscription if I had it at my tier of subscription up front to permanently have the software.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you at, man?
I think I'd be willing to pay $200 for Photoshop alone. Forever. Like, you just let me pay $200 and I get a copy, whatever the current copy of Photoshop is. I just get that for free. If I get it forever, it's mine. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm willing to pay $200 for Photoshop. I don't know as much about Illustrator, but I do know some of the things that you can do that'll help you with Photoshop. So realistically, I think I'm willing to pay about $200 for their beefier apps a piece to get them forever. Like $200 for Photoshop, $200 for Illustrator, $100 for Adobe Acrobat. I don't use After Effects and Premiere that much, so it would probably be a while before I considered biting the bullet on either of those if it was a one-time purchase of $200. But for my main 3, Adobe or Photoshop, Illustrator, and Acrobat, I think I'd be willing to pay $500 for the 3 of them. Which, like Dan was saying, $500 at what I would like to pay, which is
20, right?
I mean, for just those 3, it's 12 to 15, so we'll call it 15. So $500 divided by 15.
That'd be 33 bucks a
months.
month. Or no, yeah, it's 33 months.
Yeah, so that's basically 3 years.
Yeah, so you would be willing to pay, if it was at your price point monthly that we discussed, you'd be willing to pay 3 years up front for permanent access to the software.
And I'd be a lot more willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because as it stands now, when people are like, oh, I want an image edited, I don't tell anybody, go use Photoshop. Not a single person am I telling to go use Photoshop. I will say, what do you want done? I could do it for you. Because I like using Photoshop. It is fun for me. But I'm not selling your product to anybody, Adobe. John Adobe, in your fucking big chair.
So, I'm actually a little bit cheaper than you guys.
You got a lot more to buy, buddy. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No, it's not even that. I'm in the same price range as you, but for the whole suite. I think the whole suite should be somewhere between $500 and $700 as a one-time buy. And the reason is because it may be even a little bit cheaper and more people would buy it. But because I remember when they were coming out, like, I think it was CS6 was right before the Creative Cloud. Like, that was the transition suite. But like 3 to 4, 4 to 5 major giant changes where you're like, I might want to buy that suite now. And that was a few years in between. So now you're looking at like 500 every few years. And that could add up. Or like for me, I would probably do like every other major suite.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would think like $500-700 for the whole suite. And that's fair because I'm looking at making that purchase every so often. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're anticipating the updates down the road kind of thing. But
Yeah.
see, the problem is then Adobe would have to put forth a certain degree of effort to guarantee a new payday because you'd have to make enough changes to validate an entire new bundle of software. Whereas with their subscription basis, they can just update a couple of things and be like, lol, you're paying me every month anyway. It's guaranteed money for people who are locked into the products.
Yeah.
So that's why they're not going to fucking do that, which is really
I mean,
shit.
Yeah.
gee willikers, a company has to provide a reasonable, like, amount of shit for me to provide them with my money. What a novel concept.
Everybody just wants to make money without doing work.
Yeah,
And
you know.
Adobe's figured out
Fair.
how to do it.
Part of what I was talking about too is I remember because I had just bought CS4, and like right after I received it, because it took a few weeks for them to send it to me and stuff, they dropped CS5 with some major changes, and I'm just like, fuck, because I missed out on. It was like, I want to say it was when they added in that you could just like click on something and remove it from a photo.
I mean, what was
A
the
couple
price
click.
difference? Surely end of life CS4 did not cost as much as beginning life CS5.
With the student price, it wasn't like too dramatic. It was enough.
Okay.
I mean, it was definitely a bigger cost, but worth the cost.
It was enough that had you known, you would have waited.
Yeah. I can't remember like off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny. Because I remember we were in class and they did some, I think it was CS5 where they had some major updates and everyone, it took relearning, like even for the teachers and stuff like that. But it was really fun, really cool. And I think that was something I missed from Adobe. Like, I don't get excited anymore. Like, I used to be excited for their new stuff. Now it's just like, whatever.
No.
But yeah. Anyways, do you guys have any final thoughts?
Oh, I think I'm good.
Yeah, no, yeah.
All
I
right.
was looking at you, John P. Adobe, jackass extraordinaire.
That is our
You son of a bitch.
unqualified complaints towards Adobe.
Yes, very unqualified.
And I'll still be using Adobe, which is part of the problem.
I mean, same.
Thank you for making it through this whole episode. I'm sure, I'm curious to know how many of you agree with us versus don't. And I'd love to hear comments on all our episodes, but this one specifically on
Yeah,
your
so
thoughts on
go
that.
ahead and email those comments directly to TJ because I sure as hell don't want to see the comments that are like, y'all are fucking dumb.
Nah, I'll take them.
Oh, God.
So, thank you again. This has been the WAQ Show. I'm your host, TJ.
I'm Matt, enemy of John P. Adobe.
And I'm Dan. And I don't want to pay monthly subscriptions for software.
Never again, I hope.
Looking at you too, Microsoft, motherfucker.
Yeah, for real. Especially, yeah, we talked about it, and go check out our other PowerPoint versus Word episode 16.
Yeah.
That's the WAQ Show.
Bye.
Bye.